Leave Tyra alone! Leave Tyra alone!
Hey, squirrel friends. Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? In light of recent events, I thought it was time to explore the controversial life and career of Tyra Sanchez, the Season 2 winner of Rupaul's Drag Race. Her comments responding to the Vivienne's death have sparked outrage across the fandom, and as much as the backlash is justified, I couldn't help but wonder, how did we get here? I also got this weird idea that Tyra was watching Wicked right before tweeting that response, and Elphaba flying off in the end was like just too inspiring for her. I really feel like she sees herself as Elphaba, but honestly, she kinda is. Now, just hear me out. There's obviously no justification for Tyra's comments towards the Vivienne, but I'm beginning to understand the character Tyra has chosen to play online.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now.
What has she experienced, and what could make somebody so spiteful to remember a tweet from 5 years ago and respond hours after that person's tragic death? When Tyra appeared on Season 2 of Drag Race, she was a baby. She was just 21 years old when she won, and she entered a fandom that wasn't ready or willing to accept her as their new queen.
Understand, this is a mother and a father of a child. This child has done nothing to deserve her parent to go through this. All of you should be ashamed.
First, it was Michelle Visage, who began publicizing her opinion on tour that Raven should have won and not Tyra. This led to a movement taking place amongst the fan base, and hashtag Raven was robbed became a common sentiment amongst online commenters. Much like Elphaba, she stepped into a world that didn't accept her, that villainized her every action and made her out to be much worse than who she is. People might bring up Tyra's arguments with Tatiana and Raven as proof that she wasn't a good person, but this is Drag Race. People are supposed to argue. She was also 21 years old, facing off against an old man like Raven, who's arguably the nastiest person to ever appear on Drag Race and easily the nastiest person to watch in Season 2.
Lock that bitch up. Lock it up.
I don't know what it is with Raven, but she's had this fan base whipped. If Tyra is Elphaba, then Raven is Glinda. This man spent his entire run on Drag Race bullying much younger queens, looking miserable at the reunion, and then went on to do blackface for years with no criticism from the fans. Look at some of these pictures. Are we gonna pretend that this is appropriate? This is blackface.
Okay, and I think that jig is up, okay? Yeah.
But for some reason, she's beloved by the fandom. Who did she have to suck to get such favorable treatment by production after Tyra's victory?
Do you understand what Tyra has had to go through over the years of ridicule?
At DragCon 2017, Tyra was told that Raven wasn't going to be attending, and during the panel for Season 2, after Tyra had been sat at the end of the table, the show stopped and Raven was escorted up onto the stage and sat in the middle of the panel as the crowd cheered for their true queen. This moment honestly makes me feel really bad for Tyra. I'm surprised she didn't get up and leave. I'd feel so awful if I was her. Then the fans started asking pre-approved questions and asking if Raven thinks that she was robbed, to which Raven replies, yes, and the crowd went wild. Tyra did her best to smile through it, but I really feel bad for her. This was humiliating. Just like Elphaba walking into the Ozdust Ball in Wicked, this was the moment that she realized that nobody wanted her here. She wasn't welcome, and everyone was in on trying to make her feel ashamed of herself. It's no wonder that Tyra describes this as her breaking point. This was the moment that led to one of the most iconic moments in history, the DragCon bomb threats. I say this is iconic because it was objectively hilarious for a previous winner of Drag Race to draw a picture of the convention center exploding and post an ominous countdown to the start of DragCon titled Boom. At the time, I remember telling everybody I knew how crazy this story was, and what's funnier is how Tyra talks about it today. She says, "I don't think that picture in no way said I'm going to blow you up or that I'm going to bomb you." There's a literal conference center exploding, but okay. That doesn't mean that I'm going to blow you up. It just means that's what I feel, and that's what I feel on the inside, and I'm just playing that in art. She also posted this on Facebook, but don't worry, because this was just Tyra warning us out of concern for our safety. She says, "When I warned everyone, like, fair warning, don't go to DragCon, that wasn't fair warning, don't go to DragCon, I'm gonna blow you up, go look at this picture I drew, this is what I'm going to do." It was, no, fair warning, these people are racist, and in my experience, that was my warning, that's all I did.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now.
This whole time, Tyra knew she wasn't going to bomb DragCon. Even the FBI showed up at Tyra's door, and she got them to leave by saying, quote, "It's only there because people are being stupid and saying that I'm going to blow the place up, so that's what the timer's for." This is where we can clearly see that Tyra is playing a character of a villain because it's what people expect from her. If we hadn't accused her of threatening to bomb DragCon with the drawing she posted, she never would have created the timer on her website. It was probably very entertaining for Tyra to watch us all panic while she cackled away in her castle. This brings us back to the present, with her current tweets towards the Vivienne remaining posted on her social media accounts.
Oh Lord. Again. Again. Nothing new, nothing changed, same old.
I guess what I'm saying is, are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
And then I walked through the Capitol like a detective, and I looked for evidence.
Tyra spent most of her childhood in her room. Her relationship with her family was strained, and she was eventually homeless at 15. When she got on Drag Race and won, she must have felt like the rest of her life was about to begin. She spent months keeping her win a secret, only for the finale to air and be met with instant hostility from the fans. All because RuPaul didn't think that Raven was good enough. I wonder who Tyra would have been if she was uplifted and cheered on by the fan base. I truly believe that what we see of Tyra today is the product of a collaboration between the audience and the performer. We call her a villain, and so she plays one for us. She's a terror, she's a tartar, we don't mean to show a bias, but Kalinda is a martyr. And that would be Raven. Raven plays a martyr too. That's why she said that she thought she was robbed at DragCon. Cause she knows that that was how the fan base felt, and she knew that the crowd would go wild. And maybe for someone that looks as miserable as Raven, it felt good to say that and imagine how terrible Tyra would feel sitting at the end of that table, alone. Despite the tweets, I really do still feel for Tyra. Maybe I'm being too, I can change her, like, Tyra, this isn't you. But being so young, only 21 years old, going on this show with all this baggage from your chaotic upbringing, and then winning, being so excited for months until it premieres, and then being hated across the country, told you don't deserve it by current judges on the show, and attacked online for years, and then humiliated at DragCon. I kinda understand her spitefulness and how burnt she is by the fandom. It's as though Tyra auditioned to play the People's Princess and got cast as our Wicked Witch, and she's played that part ever since. And the People's Princess was instead played by Raven? Really? If that's the princess of the people, I think that says more about the fan base than anything Tyra can say.
If any of you ever had a heart or a soul, then you would understand that Tyra Sanchez is so what she was on drugs.
So, again, nothing justifies Tyra's tweets, but now that Candy Muse has vanquished Tyra the Witch and her career is over, maybe we can look back and understand how we collaborated with Tyra to create a villain. Much like Elphaba, Tyra began as a lonely kid, thrust into the spotlight and quickly villainized by the world. All because Rupaul liked her more than Raven.
Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
So thank you for watching. This was my first video, so don't tear me apart for the editing or the audio. I'm still figuring it out.
Come on, Nats!
I wish I could have said more about Tyra's story, but Joseph Shepard on YouTube has a great interview with her that dives into her origin story, life growing up, and the many controversies throughout her career. So definitely go check that out. I'm gonna keep making videos, so definitely subscribe if you enjoyed this one, and I'll be back later this week. Bye!
She doesn't bother anybody. Maybe just a little bit, but she doesn't mean it.